Okay, welcome to the stream. We're back again. My name is Redknight. I'm here at Adventure Games playing more Chrono Cross. Actually finishing it off this time, finally. It's only been what? Feels like 6 months. I don't even know how long it's been. Oh, it's sponsored by DX Racer as well. But anyway. Let's see here. Where is my save data? I think it was this one. Pretty sure it's this one. Either way. Uh, it has been a long road in this game, and unfortunately, yeah, that is just how it goes with the amount of time that I have to myself here. Anyway, last time we tried to actually finish this off, but it did not happen because of time constraints. Whatever, though. It's probably for the better just because it enables me to give it a proper send-off, I suppose. However you want to call it, because, like, this way it feels less half-assed and rushed. I mean, as much as this entire thing was kind of like not much of anything at all, but still. I guess we're just in the final hours, well, I guess final hours, whatever you want to call it, of the game here. But yeah, anyway, hopefully everybody else has been okay, because, I mean, I know for me it's been a long week, I say that every week, but it's not untrue. Because that's just how things go, how things in life, I guess, are. But we won't get into many details of what's going on, but still. I'll just say it's rough. Oh jeez. Meant to mute that, but I guess that's just how it goes. Anyway, yes. Last time what happened, we just got through partway through Terra Tower. Learning a little bit more about what this place is. It's just like a city in Dinopolis from the future, whatever it is. But this time, hopefully we can finish. Well, yeah, hopefully we can finish. Going through here, hopefully we can explain a little bit about the end game story here at all. Shoot, he just absorbed that. Okay, whatever then. That just completely negated it. And it's over. Not too bad. I've said so many times in the past, but this game isn't exactly the hardest game ever. That's just what it is. Feels like I'm up too high, or down too low. Hold on a second. See if that stays. No, it's not gonna stay. Somebody must have messed with the camera recently, with the TV. Not a big deal. Yeah, it's not gonna be able to fix easily. So, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. It's whatever. But yeah, anyway. Things are sometimes tough, and that's just what it is in the end here. But anyway, I gotta stop saying that. It's funny how we are creatures of habits, repeating ourselves over and over, repeating phrases, for example, like, well, even like, or even well, as a matter of fact, is something I say much too often, and it's something I would like to correct, but it's not easy. I think my English teacher said it. All these filler words are just... You gotta learn to not use filler words. My English teacher always hated when we used the words like or anything that did fill up space that didn't add to the conversation or whatnot. Obviously, I didn't take anything from that because I still did use the words like and such much too often. Much too often. But again, like I said, creatures of habit. Didn't mute my phone. Let's go ahead and do that right quick. There we go. Man, it probably wasn't even loud enough for you guys to hear, but because this microphone is actually really, well, not sensitive. I don't know what to call it specific, but it doesn't pick up the background noises as easily. So, I mean, even though my phone did go off there, in reality, nobody probably actually heard that. Not that it really matters in the end, still. But as we're going through here, we're just gonna try and get through this as quick as possible, because I mentioned before, but what I'm planning to do might take a while, just because of the, I guess it's the nature of the beast of what it is in the end, and I still haven't really decided on how I was going to go about things here. I mean, I have a general idea, but I don't know if that's the best way to go about it or not. I mean, we'll just play it by ear in the end here. Whatever happens, happens. Either way, it's gonna take a while. And hopefully I'll have enough time to give, I guess, even closing thoughts about the project. Well, I guess project here. But that's kind of like nowhere near where we are right now, so I shouldn't really be talking about it right now, but it is what it is. As close as the end of the game is right now, it's kind of far away. In my opinion, at the very least, just because, again, I did all the setup, so it's like fine on that aspect, but otherwise it's like I still have to do all of this before I can actually finish this game off. I mean, like I said, this game has, like I said actually previously, this game has been a little bit too long-winded for itself. I mean, it's my own fault because of how often I stream and such and take it on such a, it's not really a massive game, but RPG in general is going to be a little bit longer than something like a roguelike. Obviously, but still. The good things about roguelikes is they're not episodic like a RPG like this. And how many times did I say like there? Many times. Just hate it sometimes. I mean, it's something we can't really control that much, just because, again, we are creatures of habit. We will gravitate toward saying certain words. I mean, the general person's vocabulary isn't too high to mine. Well, in my opinion, it isn't too high just because I don't use much vocabulary. I mean, there's words I know, but would I ever use them? No. Probably not. Maybe it's because I talk in a more generalized demeanor. That might just be something on me. Either way, 'tis what it is. Yeah, we just defeated those two guardians, I guess you can call them. And unlocked the final chamber. Well, yeah, final chamber. Basically the final chamber here. Which means I should... No, actually, there's one more fight. And I should make a note. Because I will forget. Now, I've talked about the Chrono Cross previously. I'm actually going to equip that here. Just because it becomes relevant right here, right now. Well, not completely relevant right here, right now, but it does have a type of relevancy here. Oh, come on. Oh no, not auto. Fill blanks. Oh, jeez. Should have just did party. I mean, that's just me being dumb. Does happen. Everybody makes mistakes. But you know, they're not always detrimental. Disrespecting the origins of life. Mother Sea suffers, you must pay the price. Haha, rhymes, because why not? Just gonna set something up here really quick, because I gotta make a note about this. Anyway. The last of the actual last of the Guardians of the Elements. Again, these fights aren't too hard. But again, the Chrono Cross. Each element has a specific noise attached to it, or melody attached to it. As you can hear now that we have the Chrono Cross equipped. And in one of the battles coming up, that's going to become relevant. And the reason why we're mentioning this now is because the greatest hint, I guess, to them all is actually coming up right here. After this battle, as a matter of fact. I mean, as much as a hint, it's plain out telling you. It's a plain out telling you, this is how you do it. Very subtle, though, because I know I missed it many times before. And I finally realized, hey, is that what I think it is? And what do you know? It is. So hopefully we can get through this as quick as possible. Do I have a healing? You know what? Forget about healing. Let's just, right up, take him out. Because we should be able to. Especially with, Red Innate in our party. Assuming she doesn't miss. With everything, because that's how it goes. And my party right now isn't very specific, it's just whatever. Oh boy. Oh, tired. It's been a long day already. Probably just stayed up a little bit too late last night doing... Well, not even doing anything. I was just goofing off because I didn't want to go to sleep. Well, actually, I was working until late last night, so... I mean, that didn't help, but... I didn't have to exactly go to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning. That's my own fault. But, you know... we all have our, I guess, preferences too. Oh, jeez. I mean, like, you can't just go home and go to bed. It's not possible. You gotta, like, wind down and everything like that. So, I mean, yeah, I stayed up late for reasons. Okay. Anyway, sorry, don't mind me. And right there was the actual hint. The way they light it up. The final hint in the game of how to actually make the melody go correctly. Now the only problem is, where do we use it? Well, not even where do we use it. How do we pull that off? Well, I guess, yeah, where do we use it? But you would think the next boss is about a final boss, isn't it? Maybe. Might be. I mean, we're at the last area in the game. You would think it would be. And here we are. If you don't recognize it, Sky Dragon Temple. Sky Dragon Isle, rather. In its true form. And if you remember the stairs here earlier, all the moss is gone. It reveals heads of dragons. Stop it. Kill me. Welcome. Welcome, humans. Those who know of the torment and joy of creation know also the pleasure of destruction. Therefore, all that pass through here must be prepared to share in the burden. That went by too fast for me, unfortunately. So, this is the true Frozen Flame, Struth. Okay, hold on, don't touch it. Is everyone okay? Bugger you. Us humans ain't gonna let you have your way any longer. Come on, show your bloody self. In order to survive, all living things in this world fight desperately and devour those they defeat. Must one kill other living things in order to survive? Must one destroy another world in order to allow one's own world to continue? The wounded in turn wound and torment those weaker than themselves are. There are only the killers and the killed, the sinners who are judged, and the victims that will do the judging. What meaning is there to such a world? Whether there's meaning to our lives or not, we still go on living, you know? You've got no right to deny that. I shall cleanse this blue planet, you filthy humans, once and for all. And one of the better soundtracks in this game. Definitely. The Time Devourer. The true form of the dragons is known as the Time Devourer for some reason. Either way, if you've played the 3DS game of Chrono Trigger, actually, there is a special final boss fight, or secret boss fight, against the being known as a Time Devourer. So it kind of leads you to speculate, is it this? Well, I mean, yes, that game was released years after the original Chrono Trigger and the original, well, there's no additional Chrono Cross, but years after Chrono Cross as well. Maybe it was just another tie-in to maybe fill the gap between the two games. A little bit of a nod to Chrono Cross in Chrono Trigger DS remake. Well, yeah, remake, I guess you can even call it re-release. Still, in Chrono Trigger DS, the Time Devourer is fought by Magus alone, I believe. And we have here again Guile, who's meant to be Magus, fighting the Time Devourer once more. And it's speculated that's what caused, as a matter of fact, even in the DS remake, Magus loses his memory and wanders around. Guile, who has a lost memory, is here wandering around fighting the Time Devourer once more. I mean, it's all speculation. Probably means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Just an overactive imagination. Because why can't we have an overactive imagination? At first... Oh, you know what? This is another hint, isn't it? He started at white. Now he's moving to yellow. Now he moved to yellow. Red. Haha. This is another hint if you missed the first one, huh? Just keep missing, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Him starting at white is probably just a... They had to start somewhere. But in this fight he moves from plane to plane. In a very specific order, obviously. I thought previously that the order was determined by the elements he used, because he does use very weak elements in a very specific order. Well, in a specific type order. Well, not even a specific order, but he's using these weaker elements that deal like almost no damage. And it becomes a question as to why is he using those elements? Is there a meaning for it? I mean, maybe there was. Maybe there is. But green, blue, black. Wait, that didn't... Oh, luckily that didn't kill her. But why didn't it kill her? I thought that was an instant kill move. I mean, I'm not complaining, because I don't have to use a revive now, but the heck? Oh, and if you don't know why I'm like changing innate element colors rather, not even innate element colors, I think the innate element stays the same, but yeah, green. Surge's attack attribute. How about that? That's better. His attack attribute is changing based on the elements he's getting hit with, actually. If they're lower tier elements, which is used by his equipment. I mean, he can make things very easy. Interesting? I don't know. Oh, Omega Green, really? The two. Jeez. Luckily, we didn't use anything yet. Where is my healing? Might as well use a heal all because we have a full green field. Do we have like a red field or anything like that equipped? Probably not. Well, there's a red field on the wrong person. The red field, or the field should be on somebody who can set up the summon. Not like the summoner themselves. That's a mistake that, I guess, auto-filling causes. And it's easily rectified by just editing things, but I was just a little too lazy to do so. Probably because I just want this to end at this point. We're using 99 just to guarantee our strongest person does critical hits. Should also strengthen him as well, huh? Do I have a strength? And I probably do. Probably just not at the correct elemental level. Yep, there's one. And thinking about it, as much as I want to get a summon out here, it's probably not necessary at the moment. Because the summon will actually probably do just as much damage as Surge is doing for this level 3 attack. I have mentioned this before, but like, the amount of damage that my other characters are doing are just like nothing compared to what Surge is doing right now. I think near the beginning of the game I said, you know, everybody else ends up being almost useless, while Surge ends up being the powerhouse. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe it's because of me knowing how to get the Masamune and such, that I just neglect the other guys. In such a way that it makes it so they're practically useless, because yeah, I could have, and I probably should have, rainbow equipment at this point. I don't. And that's probably because I have to work to get it. So like looking at the amount of difference in damage, like Kid just did a tenth of what Surge was doing. I mean, yes, it is a innate advantage battle. I mean, it's not anymore, but right there it was, yes, but still the amount there was just like devastating. Like there's such a detriment between the two characters. It's similar to like power farming in Pokemon. One Pokemon throughout the entire game, you have a level 100 in your party for everything, who does everything. While you have level 2s and such for the others. Probably just your HM slaves and such. But it, I guess that's a basic of the basic comparisons. And maybe, again, it's probably just the way that I play. Making things difficult here. And this is the final stage of the battle. By the way, I just glossing over that. We go back to White, which is actually the very end of the song. So, I mean, yes, it starts at White, but that one is completely meaningless. I guess either they had to start somewhere or it's meant to represent. Let me do this. Can't do that? Okay, fine. Do I have a turn black? I don't. Okay, let's not do anything. Not do anything. What I was actually planning to do was like use a level 1 gravity blow against Surge. Wow, that was extremely easy. I remember having so much trouble with this fight. Especially with the way that I play. But, not gonna complain. Not in the least bit. Now, I shall truly awaken again. This too is destiny. This is not even my final form. That thing, the Dragon God, is only a quasi-existence. A temporary form that uses the real Dragon God uses in order to appear within this dimension. The actual Dragon God was consumed long ago in the distant past, integrated by the entity known as Lavos in a time on the other side of the dimensional darkness. The frozen flame is a splinter from the extraterrestrial being Lavos. The one who connects with the frozen flame, in effect, links with Lavos itself. As a mediator between Lavos and living things, that one will gain extraordinary powers. By binding with the new seed of destruction, the Devourer of Time. What in blazes is the Devourer of Time? Now go to the place where time became divided and weave the threads of time together again. Chrono Trigger. The Devourer of Time is a new life form, born out of the fusion of a life form from the planet with Lavos, who nests on the far side of the dimensional void. In the far-off future, when the fusion becomes complete, it will awaken. Then, the Devourer of Time will begin to consume all space-time continua. Despair and hatred, to return all things to nothingness. This is what it desires. Here, take this with you. That time egg will enable you to travel beyond space-time. The world is in your hands. Go, Release the life that is imprisoned. Now he said something very confusing there. Cripey, what in bloody hell is happening? This place is going to crumble to pieces. And saying, release the person who's imprisoned, basically. That will come into a relevant scene in a little bit, actually. And now the fortress itself is a dragon. Okay. I guess he finally fused together with it. So that's Terra Tower's final true form. In the end, we're all the same. Everyone's dreams of being greater, more powerful. We have come this far. All that remains is defeat the Devourer of Time. Once we wipe the Devourer of Time off the face of this planet, it is all over. Hopefully, everything will go back to normal again. You're wrong. Things won't ever go back to the way they were. Destiny, fate, is dead. From now on, us humans have to choose our own way in life. We also have to take responsibility for the choices we do make. And something's gotta be done about the way we go on hurting and killing one another. We've gotta settle our differences once and for all. Listen, what's really important is what we do now. The issue ain't whether we defeat that bastard or not. I'm afraid that, depending on how you go about it, we could lose out on gaining something real precious. So the issue is the way we fight. So, where on earth is the real Devourer of Time? My guess is the key to finding it lies at the beach. That's where this whole thing started. It's also, I skipped it. Oh well. I guess it probably said something where it's also where this all ends, to that effect. But yeah. Gonna do another quick save here. And this is basically it. I think we're just in the wrong world. I think we are. We have to be. Three people who look awfully familiar. A new species is about to be born on this planet. an alien life form, even more evolved than the old Lavos. At the darkness beyond time, the weakened Shala came under the influence of Lavos, and the two became one entity. It is now up to you, the one whom the frozen flame has chosen as its arbiter. You alone can decide how the new Lavos, which has encaged Shala within it, will evolve from here. Your actions will determine whether in the future all time is devoured by Lavos, sending the world into everlasting death. Balthazar foresaw this was going to happen in his world in the year 2300, and he was determined to prevent it from happening, no matter what it took. The Chrono Cross. It alone can combine the sounds of the planet that the 6 types of elements produce. The melody and harmony that brim within all life forms. Use the song of life to heal her enmity and suffering. We entreat you, Surge. Please save Shala. Where even the angels lose their way. 10 years ago, you died at this very spot. There was no mistake. You drowned. The truth is, in this world, which you are still very alive, is the irregularity. This is the false reality. 10 years ago, it was Lynx who tried to kill you at this beach. After Prometheus broke the link between fate and the frozen flame. Fate tried to eliminate any obstacle that stood in its way. In the meantime, the 6 dragons had sent Harl forth to try and gain possession of the flame. Harl made contact with Fate's biological incarnation, Lynx, and tricked him into temporarily joining forces. The elimination of Prometheus's circuit lock on the frozen flame was everyone's top priority. Lynx and Harl abducted Luca, who alone could release the Prometheus lock that guarded the flame. But the whole attempt only ended in failure. Then, they just waited for you to appear instead. You see, Fate calculated that it would one day cross the dimensions and try to make contact with the flame. I don't know how to break this to you, but Lynx was actually your father, Wazuki. Drawing closer to the flame caused him to become unstable, and the image of you dying in terror changed him completely. Finally, after having his psyche totally eroded, he lost his soul and was easily integrated by Fate. Fate turned Wazuki into a biological interface, modeling him after your worst fear at the time, a panther. Although Wazuki managed to escape from Chronopolis with you, he later completely succumbed to Fate. Humans are such fragile, disjointed, imperfect things. Love and hate, life and death. Perhaps even Fate itself dreamed of using the flame to someday reincarnate itself into a new species. It's quite sad, really. It's like when you gaze into the flame gazes back into you. So this is a huge, summary lore dump even? Because, well, he just told us basically information that we wouldn't have known otherwise, just that Lynx was our father at all this time, which sounds like Star Wars. I don't know why that came up. It probably came up because it's Star Wars. Regardless. Yeah, I think she tells us who Shala really is. Finally made it, Surge. When did this sorry tale all begin? Was it 10 years ago when you almost drowned here? Or was it 14 years ago when you were wounded by the panther demon that attacked you? Resulting in you being carried to Chronopolis, where you came into contact with Fate and the frozen flame. Or perhaps it was even in 2400 years in the future, when the time crash hurled Chronopolis back to the prehistoric period times. Or it could even been 1200 BC, when an ancient magical kingdom met its end after trying to use Lavos. Each is close to being correct, and yet at the same time so far from being the right answer. The true beginning was during the destruction of the ancient kingdom of Zeal. As the palace collapsed around her, Princess Shala was sucked into a dimensional vortex along with the Lavos Mammon machine. Shala and Lavos became unified into an even more powerful entity that would evolve into the Devourer of Time. Filled with the hatred and sadness of Lavos, half of Shala's mind became set on destroying all of existence. Yet, at the same time, the other half of her mind desired to save the universe and to be rescued herself. As Shala fell through the time gate in this condition, she heard your crying echoing through time. That is when her story and yours began to intertwine. It is also when the past and the future began to intersect, and when the world became divided into two. Led by the pitiful crying of the young Surge, made as a panther demon's poison took hold of him, Princess Shala traveled 10,000 years in time to try and make this contact with this dimension. This caused a raging magnetic storm that resulted in Fate's system malfunction, which led Surge into the frozen flame. Yes, Surge. The sound of your crying touched the heart of Princess Shala. Before the destructive mindset could become dominant, she cloned herself and sent her copy into this dimension. Shala left her baby daughter clone with her ancient pendant possessing magical powers. This was to safeguard her daughter clone in life and death situations. The pendant would rewind time a little, sending her daughter clone into a safer point in the immediate past. That's right. Kid is Shala's daughter clone. You're wrong. I'm me. I ain't no Shala's daughter or clone. Yes, that's right, kid. If that's how you feel. I think Princess Shala would have wanted it to be that way too. And now about Project Kid, the time control project Balthazar planned out. The whole project existed to lead you to this one special point in time. The founding of Chronopolis, the time crash, and the battle between Fate and the Dragon Gods. It's all coordinated so you would get your hands on the Chrono Cross and come to this place. Of course, Kid was not to know anything about this whole plan until later, when this will all finish. Further in the future, Kid is meant to travel back 10 years in time from now to save Surge from drowning. And then, Kid was also meant to call Surge into the other world as he spoke with Lena here on Apasa Beach. You're our last hope. Our final chance. Only you, who came into contact with Shala and Kid, Shala's clone daughter, can do it. In the darkness that exists on the other side of time, Shala has integrated with the Devourer of Time. Please, Surge, release Princess Shala from the binds of that monster and her own hatred. Show us, the life forms that exist on this planet, what our future will be. Confusing. Very confusing. But I guess when you're dealing with the concept even of time travel, anything can be confusing as it can be, I suppose. And it is a lot to take in. So I think what time is it? 20 after 5. Okay. This is how we're going to do this. No beginning, no end. So, the final gates, which leads to the darkness of time. Looks like this is finally it. Come on. Eh. Never did I expect this to happen. but very interesting nonetheless. I would like to witness the outcome of this battle. Come on, Serge, me mates. You don't want to keep the girl waiting any longer. She's been waiting for you, and only you. And for over 10,000 years, I might add. If the world's gonna be destroyed, then let it be destroyed. If history's gonna change, then let it bloody well be changed. I'll show you what radical dreamers really dream about. Alright, so this is the actual final battle of the game. And fitting enough, it has no music to it. I guess fitting. Either way, the entire embodiment is meant to look a little bit like Lavos, but I guess to a point where it's mutated to a point. But anyway, the whole concept of the entire lore dump that was just there. So this game, finally in the end, is making the connection. Is connecting rather to the other game between the connection between Lavos and Shala. And this is the entire story is based off. Oh, nice misses. The entire story is based off Balthazar's plan to rescue Princess Shala in the end. Everything from the year 2300 led up to this point. Everything, I guess, he planned. His plans made it up to this point. And I'm gonna use really quick 99. And some way, somehow, however he managed to do it, he manipulated time in order to get us to this point where we can actually meet up and defeat the Time Devourer. Again, still very confusing. I'm not even sure how to even explain it. Like, that was just a huge wall of text that is very difficult to interpret. But I guess we'll continue to try and do our best here. So the entire premise of the game all started, well, premise of the game, whatever. This entire thing's all started with Princess Shala meeting Lavos, and they became one entity together. At some point in time, Balthazar learned of this, and made a plan to actually save Shala, which was orchestrated in a way that it used so many entities, the dragon gods, fates, and time travel in order to do so. And by some coincidence, the Princess Shala herself was infatuated with Surge, who at the time was attacked by that Panther Demon, and that's where everything split. Surge was actually meant, in the end, Surge was actually meant to perish. The home world that we know was not meant to be. Ended up making a type of paradox, I suppose. so that the voices, so that 10 years into the future, or was it 14 years into the future? Jeez, this is confusing. I can't even wrap my head around it right now because, like, I'm trying to decipher it. I guess basically at some point in the future, this entire sequence of events of us defeating the Time Devourer happens, where sometime in the future, even further in the future, Kid is the one calling to us at the beginning of the game at the village, at Opasa Beach, which eventually leads us into the time portal and us stranded into the other world where we actually do not exist. From there, that's where we do meet the kid who is from the actual time period and puts all these sequence of events into place. Causing us to go on to a quest with the Astral Amulet, which is actually a pendant given to Kid from Shala, meant to rewind her time whenever she gets into a dangerous position, so that she never actually dies. If anything were to actually happen to her. In that case. So the Astral Amulet is actually a piece of, I believe, the Mammon Machine, which explains a little bit of the pendant from Chrono Trigger, how it had powers to cross between space-time. But, yeah, I'm confused myself right now, even. But we were set up to use that power in order to cross to the dimensions, in order to actually get to this point where we're actually fighting the Devourer of Time. It is confusing. Time travel makes no sense. It is a paradox. I mean, like, it's hard. It is really hard to explain, even, like, the entire premise of it is just like, what? What even is at this point? I mean, yeah. In the end, it is a game. What can we expect? Well, he's down. I don't have a way to get him back up. Unfortunate. Let's just make sure we don't die here. But in the end here, we're just, I guess, trying to get through this battle as best we can. And we're doing it the complete wrong way. For a reason. I guess for a reason, because this is the way that I guess I decided to finish the game. Let's defend here. Hopefully Surge doesn't go down. That would be bad. Might have to restart this fight. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm finishing the fight. Oh, I have a revive. Good. That's actually really good. I'm gonna just grind out the fight, basically. Because this is probably the worst ending? Not taking the hint and playing the song of the Chrono Cross, the Song of Life, I believe they called it. And just defeating it. What I decided in the end here was, I was going to try and get through the endings of the game just because it is something that I never did. And there are multiple endings. There's up to like 9 or 10 endings. I don't think this ending I'm doing right now actually counts as an ending. That's just how poor I suppose it is. It's just us defeating the enemy, like we always did. This is probably this is rather the ending that I actually got from my first playthrough, because I never actually was able to determine what the song was, because I was a kid, I was dumb, I had no clue that, oh, this is a hint. Ha, it is so obvious now. I mean, really, they like throw it in your face like 5 or 6 times throughout that fortress. And you know, I didn't get it. And when I point them out now, it's like, oh, am I dumb? I mean, of course you were dumb, you were a kid. What can you expect? Maybe you had no situational awareness or something like that. So I'll defend this out really quick. We're gonna get a summon out, I suppose, the hard way, because it's gonna be the easiest way to complete this fight, because she has a lot of health. There's no doubt to that. And the only one who's really dealing damage is Surge, so it's like, I'm gonna wait for a minute, because there's a good chance that she'll mess up this red field. Or not. Well, I was right in the sense that she was going to use an element, but turns out that element was a red element, so I would have been safe. And I didn't want to take the chance regardless. Still, let's get this summon out here as quickly as possible. And actually heal up what we have. No, you can't heal up because you'll mess it up. Can't do that. Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's why you can't... That's why the field should be on a separate person. I just made a dumb mistake. Oh well, it is what it is. Why was that so easy? It feels like that should have gone on for longer. Regardless. Maybe I'm just misremembering things, because that seemed much too easy. But yeah. This is the worst of the endings, just defeating the Time Devourer without doing anything special. Now, there is no resolution to this, I suppose. This is just it. Because if it would go, it just cuts straight to credits. There is no resolution. You beat the game, congratulations, but you didn't do it the right way. This is probably the only... was it the only ending? It probably was the only ending I saw in my recollection of it at the very least. But we're just going to go ahead and reset the game here. Because I'm not going to wait through, through all those credits, because we are doing like 9 other endings here, because why not? I never saw them in all the time that I could have YouTubed them. And you know what? We might as well make the most of it. I did all the setup. I think I'm just going to save the best of the endings for last. But that means we have to go through that fight another 9 times. Which, I mean, it's not going to be so bad, because once you finish the game and get to a new game plus, which I had done off screen, as you can see, I have many save files now. I guess we'll just start from the beginning. I need to find really quick. back to disc 1 for once, I guess. I mean, I guess this game is 2 discs just because I know they have all the data on both discs up to a point, because how else are they going to load all these FMVs that could be possible at any... Well, no, I guess only some endings are possible in disc 1 and some endings are possible in disc 2. But once you complete the game, you actually start with a couple things. Hold on, let me check something. I don't know if I actually set this up. I did. But is my equipment good? It is. They actually give you an item called the Time Shifter, which is probably the best thing in the game because an RPG is long. It's gonna take you a while to get through things, especially if you can't, even with skipping text, it is a long time. So they give you a Time Shifter, which allows you to speed up or slow down time. And it makes things so much easier. But we're gonna go through these one by one. And it's gonna be a while, because some of them, like for this one example, is a one-on-one fight. This is probably the hardest, most difficult of the endings to actually get because of your single person restrictions. And probably not the most rewarding, but like an Easter egg-ish type ending. I may have actually gotten this ending in the past as well, because I was able to, you know, go through the game multiple times because, you know, I had that time to do so because I was a kid. Kids do things like that. I should use a Manigate, huh? Well, let's heal up first. If I have a heal. Of course I should. And that's what auto-allocating does. You like, you don't know what stuff is, where stuff is. But yeah. I think the problem with Manigate though is it's not gonna last all too long. I mean, yes, it'll last, but... Oh, and I completely skipped off that holy healing I could have used. I mean, that was one element it blocked. We'll see how many it actually blocks for me. I mean, even blocking 1 or 2 is just great. Especially since it's only using green for some reason. Probably because it's only in its first stage of the combat. And luckily enough, they're kind of lenient in giving us 99 accuracy. It might have something to do with us having only a single party member. I'm not entirely sure about that fact. And that Manigate lasted a decent while. Let's use the second one. Just to stay safe, because, you know, I'd rather not die and go through this entire thing. And luckily with 99% accuracy, it does give you the third option for attacking, which is great. Because are you really going to use a tier 1 rather attack when you have full accuracy? But yeah, hopefully we can just grind through this. Yeah, grind through this, because that's what it's going to be. Quickly. Of course, it wears off during an Omega Black turn. I mean, yeah, it didn't deal too much damage, but still. Oh, and I'm poisoned. Great. Let's defend and recover. Yeah, there we go. Actually didn't take a turn. So that doesn't happen often. When you defend, at the very least. Speaking of taking turns, why isn't it taking a turn yet? Did I get to a point where it just gave up? I've never seen this before. Just, okay. I'm not gonna complain. Not in the least bit. And that's it. The most difficult, quote unquote, because I have 94 stars. Ending to get. Again, it was only considered difficult because you're alone. Oh, please insert disc 2, really? In order to see the ending? Okay. Maybe they didn't fit all the information necessary on the disc 1 for disc 1 endings. Eh. Oh well. Welcome to the development room. Welcome. This is where the development teams get to shake their thanks to their players. What was that question mark for Pepper? Stop interrupting me. Just shake it and say your line. Oh, that was terribly terrible of me. Ahem. Be sure to talk to Pepper or me when you wish to leave. That's the way it goes. You won't be able to shake it out of here otherwise. Well, have a good time. Charge of battle effects. Didn't even have time to tend to my butt hairs. Let me my goatee, bristles. Okay, see, black hair, red hair, black hair, red hair. I mean, yeah, it's just a development room. Which person impersonates number 10. And that's, I guess, showing off their mechanic of what you call it, their ability to make everybody personalized in a way. I mean, this is nice to see. I'm just going to speed through it a little bit because I do want to just get through this. And they do have their own names, which is great. I mean, again, I'm just going to go through. Don't really feel like going through all of these people, because there is a lot of them. Yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of them. I guess it doesn't let me go any further than that, but like, still, it's nice. Nice to see. But we're just gonna go ahead and shake it out of here. Well then, goodbye, and thank you. Okay. That was one ending. Out of multiple. And granted, this shouldn't take all too long. What time is it? Okay. Just have my disc ready here because I know I'm gonna have to change again because I know what's next. Kind of. I kind of know what's next. I don't know the titles, I suppose, of the endings. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that this project is just over at this point. I did mention it overstayed its welcome. It is what it is. I mean, it's my own fault for picking something that's gonna take such a long time and when I have such a limited time frame to actually do streaming of the game. But that is what it is in the end. Shouldn't concern ourselves with the past mistakes, I suppose. Past mistakes. I don't even know if that's the right phrasing for it. Hmm. Whatever. And I guess even going through this, it's like you can see like the differences in our inventories, and it kind of like, oh, so that's where you are in this game, and oh, you only had this character in there, so okay. So you're about at this point. I think this is the point right before we enter Viper Manor for the first time. So there's only Kid and Surge in our party. And you'll notice our health is completely different because of the order that I actually saved the games in. So unfortunately, this one's going to take, even though I do have a second party member for this, it's going to take a little bit longer than the other. Does she not have a decent weapon on? I have no clue. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I can't tell if it's a rainbow weapon or not. Looks like an iron. And if that's what it is, that's what it is, but we'll just rely on elemental abilities with her, at the very least. And even that didn't deal too much. Huh. That sucks. Yeah, like I said, this is going to take a little bit longer than the others. Especially considering that happened. Full heal, because I can. Well, am I gonna have time to completely finish this? Because I do wanna... I don't know. Decision might have to be made. Let's make sure we heal. I mean, yeah. I didn't plan this through too well, I guess. I guess I didn't expect the entire first portion of this to take an hour. Wait, do I not have a revive, really? Oh, come on now. Oh, come on now. Yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. Let's take a look at what I got here, because I'm unprepared, because of course. Antidote that. Equipment. Iron dagger. I have nothing better. I have nothing better. Huh. I think he has a full revive, so should be fine. Let's unfortunately try this again. Because of course that's how this is gonna go. Oh boy. Had to be this way. Really had to be this way, huh? It turns out the hardest difficulty of endings is gonna be the easiest. Who would have guessed? Not me, that's for certain. How are we gonna go about this? Considering how slow, rather, this is going, I hate to make this go on for another stream, I really do. But you know what, I can just do the endings and then just play something else next time. I'm not paying attention and that's bad. I should really pay attention. Because that almost wiped me out. It really shouldn't have been that way. This is so much easier with the Masamune because it's a critical hit, no matter what. Which actually makes the Masamune stronger than the rainbow weapon. I mean, it is what it is. In the end. I don't know why they made it stronger, but I guess they did. So I guess the basic strategy I'm going to employ here, because that's just how weak I am, is to make sure we don't use elements. Because they're just going to be reserved mostly for healing. Mostly. Do I have another heal? I'm sure I do. Recover all. Just keep our health as high as possible. And you will see my health amounts will change drastically between each ending because, again, it's at a different point in time. Always at a different point in time. The most drastic change being the first one because of the amount of time I put into that one to get it actually prepared for this session. And I guess the one thing I hate is I don't know how long I have until he's down. And I guess the fact that I only have a iron dagger, which is not strong at all. Not even like a stone dagger, like really? Do some attacking and then I'll use a recovery. I don't know. I might have to do a final continuation on this because, yeah, the time is getting late. The time is late. I don't know why that reminded me of King Gizzard. Well, right, why even try to do a King Gizzard type impression? Yeah, this is not happening. This is not happening. Did I do insufficient preparation? I probably did. Let's play a little bit safer here. Because you should have healing. Because unfortunately, Kid is useless. And I have no summons. I think he's almost down. Do I have healing? I'm sure I do. Capsule is healing, but it's not really too much. We're gonna have to use it though. It's better than nothing. Luckily, it's only using a small lower tiered. attack here. I'm gonna have to do this. It's the only way out at this point, I believe. Because I don't have much more healing, if any. You know what? Let's use a 99. Probably my best. Really? Oh, missed because Magnet Gate. See, that's, I guess, the one detriment to it, because even beneficial stuff can miss. Hopefully, I can at least accomplish the final. This ending at the very least, before I actually call it quits here. At this point in time, it doesn't look like it's feasible. Just with how much I'm struggling right here, right now. Ugh, it missed. That means it wasn't over. Do we have any more healing? Maybe heal all. Which means it's not missing anymore. Which sucks. That's gonna poison me. That's probably the point of it. Any more healing? Probably not. It's a heal. That's all there is to it. It'll help me a little bit. Not by much, because look at that. I'm almost down again. And that's gonna be it. That sucks. Absolutely. I suppose the problem is that I don't have proper equipment. And that sucks for sure. I guess I can try one thing before. I don't even have time. You know what? We're gonna have to save this for next time. So, I guess next time we're gonna get through the final of the endings. I hate that I'm doing this one more stream, but it's gonna happen. It is what it is at this point. I mean, I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles in the end. Well, I guess we will leave it off here. We have 6 or something. I don't know. A couple more endings to go. Those should not take too long, but we'll save it for next time. So this has been Redknight playing Chrono Cross here at Adventure Games, supposed to be a DX Racer. So we are ending for today, and next time we'll be finishing up with the endings and hopefully having time for something else. We will see you next time.